Hello my dear friends. So here I have a machine that I've been testing for the last few weeks. Stefan Hermann from CNC Kitchen was so kind to borrow it to me because he doesn't live so far away from me, so it is about an hour of drive, and he told me I can keep it for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. And yeah, I'm really happy to present to you the Dazz3D L120 Basic version that was recently on Kickstarter and is now still on Indiegogo. Yeah, it's a compact machine, as you can see. So it is a MSLA 3D printer, which means mask LCD. And it has a purple LED light and underneath, which is located somewhere here. And then here's a mask LED and then the VAT on top. Yeah. The footprint is 175 millimeters by 220 by 386 millimeters. And the build volume is 120 by 68 by 150. And an inch, that would be 4.7 by 2.6 by 5.9 inches. And the XY resolution is 47 micron, which is really enough. Yeah. And the Z resolution is 10 micron. The layer height that you can achieve, you can choose between 25, 35, 50 or 100 micron. And the printing speed, which I never was aiming for, would be up to 36 millimeters per hour. The machine weight it's not very heavy. Yeah, it says that it's 6.5 kilogram, which what would be in pounds 14.5. And what is very nice is that it is a new type of printer because it has a 2K LCD, and it has a pixel size of 2560 by 1440 pixel. Yeah. And the light source, as I said, it is a purple LED. It has 405 nanometers, was a standard for most of the end user printers, and it has 48 watt. So the VAT in here, it's quite nice. The size is quite big. I still have some resin in there, so I don't want to keep it too long open. Yeah, you just slide open these handles here, and then you could just take it out like that, and then just flip them close again, and then close the lid like that. The build quality is really nice. So and the FEP foil you can exchange by yourself. There's a kit, that helps you to exchange it. There's a video on YouTube. Then the supports, what I really like in the software is that you can choose between different types of supports. There's a one for normal objects, figurines, like this one. Yeah, but there you can choose between 2 different types. And for jewelry, there's a other type of support, or the extra box, where you can fine-tune your supports even more. You can make them more pin shape, so that later when you cut them off, that you don't have so much little pimples. The size of the pimples is smaller. And yeah, that I haven't seen that in the other printer that I have, so this is really nice. And the input would be STL, OBG, SLC, DDEB, and DDVP. Those last ones, I think, specifically are their own file type. Yeah. Then the connectivity is Wi-Fi, Ethernet, or USB. I have now exclusively used Ethernet, because that worked fine for me, because I wanted to record what was going on the software, because then I could monitor it. Then what is nice that in the software you could not only run one printer at a time when you connect it to the software, but you can make like a printing farm, and you would see them listed up. I will show you some screenshots later in the video. Then it has kind of auto leveling. The setup is a little bit different. There's some screws at the side that you have to unscrew first. Then you take out the vat, and then you go down to Z max, you know, so to Z minimum 0, and then you take a piece of paper and you pull on it, and then okay, it's just like on a FDM printer, and then when it's tight, you know, you hold it down. When it's tight, you close the screws, and then when you have a tight fit, it's okay. Yeah, I had to do it only once, and since then it really works nicely. What I also like here is the way you detach the build platform. There's a handle in the back, and there's some magnets here, and also here I will flip it up so you can see it a little bit better here. And so that is quite unique. I haven't seen this on any other printer yet. Okay, so then the printer came with 3 different resins. You know, there are different sets that you can buy. You will see when you look on their website or on Indiegogo. So I had here I could choose between F20 Smoothness, this is Khaki. I could use here the HT3 High Temperature, or the third one was the VG5, and it says Rigid Gray. Yeah, I cannot really say which one I like most, but they for sure have different properties. As this name already says, high temperature, this would be for objects that are going to be used under high temperature. For instance, if you have models or something and you want to create a deep drawing foil over it, because the foil has to be heated up, you know, with vacuum, yeah, vacuum forming. And this rigid one, yeah, I would like to print a clock with it, a mechanical clock, and then it could prove that it's really rigid. This one here was the most liquid one. And for me, personally, I like this one most because I like to print figurines, for instance, and on this one you see I have the feeling the best detail on this, you know, on the surface because of the color, not because of the material, because of the color. Yeah, then this one here is a little bit thicker in consistency, but still okay, and the thickest one was this one. Yeah, and it gives you a nice skin tone, so I think this one here would be nice for prosthesis, for instance, yeah, or yeah, any kind of models. But they have other ones, yeah, available. I would like to test their jewelry material, but yeah, I don't have it here at the moment, so I used my own one. And as you can see here, I printed this little thing here. This is extremely high in detail. It has a mesh. And I also printed a ring and a medallion like this one here. Yeah, I will make close-up pictures later to show you also all these models here. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to hold it in the camera now. You will not see it right in the right way. Yeah, and take a look at this one here. As I printed without supports, I only had supports underneath. So the whole thing on the inside was not supported at all. Yeah, then this old guy with a beard is very famous. Yeah, I made some very nice structure from Dizingof. He's one of my favorite designers. And as I love Chinese stuff here, of course, lots of stuff here, heroes. And so I printed kind of a lot. But you might think that I use a lot of resin, but I didn't, because I hollowed all of these models out, except of those 2 ones that I made. You know, those were the first ones. And all the other ones I hollowed out with mesh mixer. And I have 2 holes in the bottle, and the bottom. Yeah, so yeah, it's about like 1 to 1.5 millimeters thickness. You know, the shell thickness. And I also made the star here, which is really nice. I made it for my mini factory test print. And you know, the build quality of the machine is really, really nice. It is brushed aluminium in the back here. This is a beta unit, so I don't know what the final one will look like, because I was a little bit irritated. It doesn't have any power switch. Yeah, so you just plug in the power cord. Yeah, as you can hear. Yeah, so this is what it sounds like. I measured directly in the back of this printer. There it had 68 decibel, and further away, let's say 1 meter away, it had like 50 decibel. So it's not the most quiet printer, but the printing sound when it prints, you know, the other one that I have is quite loud, but this one here isn't. Yeah, and this is what I like very much about this one. And the other connections on the back here is LAN and 2-time USB cable. And this lid here, I like it a lot that it is attached to the chassis, that it's not a lid that you have to lift off and put on again. There's so many on the market where you have to do so. I like these ones with the hinges and with a connected door much better. The only thing that I criticize is that it doesn't have a handle. So, you know, when you are wearing the gloves, and you know, those gloves will also be full of resin. Yeah, you can take care as much as you want, and then later when you attach the printer, you will have the resin all over the place. So a handle would be nice, but maybe you just print one. The print bed is big enough. Maybe you just print one. You know, and what I also like a lot, because I've worked with other printers, and lots of them, even expensive ones, they were not sealed here on the sides. Yeah, but there's no light leak. It is properly closed, and so you could just leave your resin in there, because you know, the orange lid is not just that it looks fancy. Of course, this one looks really fancy, like 70s. You know, this orange I like a lot, like hippie flower power style. You know, from the 70s, and it is to prevent the light from curing the resin that is inside the vat. So you can simply keep it in there, and then the only thing that you have to do is stir it up. The accessories. Let me show you the accessories. I didn't get a lot because, yeah, this is not the final unit. I will show you in a picture all the accessories that normally would come with the printer. So what I got is the Ethernet cable. I got a bag with business cards. And I thought, okay, wow, why are there so many business cards? But it is said to be also a scraper for the vat. Then 2 pieces of sandpaper. I don't know what they're good for. And that's about it. Yeah, and 1 USB stick that has some files on there. Yeah. And okay, let me show you. You know what? One thing that I don't like, but maybe this is not because it's not the final version. I don't know what the one will look like that you receive. Is that I always wear gloves, please. You know, the resin for me. You know, I'm a dental technician. I'm exposed to resins now and then at work, so I'm not that sensible. I don't think that the resins really stink so much, but what really stinks is, you know, when you wash the objects in the isopropanol. The isopropanol is really something that really stinks, and you will need lots of it, you know. So I bought myself these 2 containers. When you receive yours, there's going to be one included, a bigger one. And I would also highly recommend you to buy the ultrasonic if you haven't bought it. If you have if you have bought it through Kickstarter or Indiegogo and you didn't buy the ultrasonic, maybe you buy it afterwards by yourself. And because just washing it in there is not as effective as if you are putting a box inside the ultrasonic. That is much more efficient. Yeah. So why do I have 2 containers? Because one will be for the pre-wash and one will be for the final wash. So the tools that I also used are these snippers. I think one pair will also come with yours. Then plastic tweezers, very handy. Then a small knife that I bought once I was in America. I don't use a big scraper. I rather liked using the small one. Then an old toothbrush, you know, to wipe off the excess. And I'm a dental technician, so I like to use dental instruments, you know, to scratch off. Or yeah, what is also very handy is to have an X-Acto knife, you know, to cut off these little pimples or the supports as such. And this one comes quite handy. This is normally, I don't know what it's called, a forceps, you know, to when you're doing operations. Yeah, you can buy them online. You know, they're very handy, so you can just use them to grab the supports and get a grip of them and pull on them. And this is normally used here for cameras to blow out dust. But if you don't have an air compressor like I have a small air compressor up here, you know, it's quite handy to blow away the liquid to see if all the resin has been properly washed off. Yeah, so I would highly recommend to you when you take it out, of course you can blow like that, but then you're gonna get all the stuff in your face. So rather use something like that to blow dry it like that, so you're not exposed to the excess in your face. And then because I don't have a proper curing light, so instead I bought myself this kind of gel nail curing light. So you just hold your hand in there and it switches on automatically, which is quite nice. Of course, a curing chamber is maybe better because you can set longer exposure times. And I would kind of maybe objects that are very opacious, I would cure like maybe 20 minutes, and some that are a little bit more translucent, maybe around 10, 15. And it also depends on the thickness. When it comes out of the printer, they're still more or less quite soft. Yeah, and so be really careful when you snip off the supports that you don't get depressions. Yeah, if you do so, you can just take an instrument and fill them up and then cure them, so you can kind of repair the stuff. Yeah, it's quite okay. Good. Okay. Yeah. So you see, if I would grab it now here and maybe they are dirty, the gloves, then I would have the resin all over the place. So you see here the business card you would just take and then you just stir it up. If you have a misprint, always please take care that you do not have any excess sticking to the foil. You would have to scratch it off. Otherwise you will perforate the foil. Yeah, and as I have seen, when you receive yours, there are two paper filters coming with yours. So that is to filter out little rests of supports that maybe got lost somewhere in the resin. But if you don't have any failures and you really control the prints, if all the supports are there, you don't have to worry. It's just in case that something happens. And I think you will have some failures because you have to learn how to set the supports right. You might have to fine-tune the curing time. When I received the machine, I didn't have any curing times, only one draft inside the software. And I had some failures because I had to find out first how to set the curing times. And then after a while, they sent me an Excel file which only contained the thicknesses of 50 microns. So all of the models I printed with 50 microns. And I'm really astonished that even at that higher layer height, it looks that smooth. So I can really highly recommend the printer. I'm really happy with it. And I'm very, very sad that I have to return it. Yeah, so it's a loaner, it's not my own. And I didn't get any money for this review. I just wanted to test it because the one that I have only has a tiny build plate, and I wanted to print some bigger stuff, and I really enjoy using the printer, and I wish I would have one. They also have a pro version, which has a auto refill system and a wiper. You know, for why do you need a wiper? Yeah, maybe you ask. The wiper you would need for materials that are filled, like for instance ceramic filled, and I don't know there are so many materials out there in the market. Yeah, so if you're in need for that stuff, the wiper you can take off. You don't have to use it, what I heard. But if you want to use exotic materials in the future, then that would be nice. Also the auto refill system, if you do if you want to print continuously, don't want to take care about checking once in a while if there's some resin left, then that's handy to have. And the Pro version would also have a touch screen. So everything that I do on the computer in front of me, you would see then here on screen. Yeah, but I didn't really miss it here now. But yeah, it's handy to have. Good. The one thing I didn't like is the build platform. You know, it's quite hard to clean. Let me take it off here again. I know that it's not dirty, so this is why I'm not wearing gloves now. So as you see here, you know, it's not easy to get access to all these little places here. And you know, sometimes if you take a look online, you will see that other producers, they have a very thick build plate, which means you only have to wipe off the lower side of the build plate and the sides. But here the resin gets all over the place, you know, on all the top of the build plate, and there are 2 layers, so you even have to wipe off these corners here. So I don't know if it's only on the beta unit. Maybe yours is better, because when you look on the Indiegogo page, you will see that the build platform looks different. There it has an angle, you know, so the excess can flow down. So this is not really nice. Yeah, but maybe it's just because it's a beta unit. What is also very nice is that it has a double linear rails here. Yeah, so it's very sturdy and very accurate. Great. So I will switch it off, and then we take a look at the software. So let's open up the instruction for use. I'm already on the page that shows how to set it up. As you can hear, maybe in the background, I've already switched the printer on, and I've connected it via LAN cable to my computer. So let's see how that works here. So I will open up my settings here. Okay, double click on this one. So then it says here Ethernet, change the settings. So we have to change the settings. Then here Ethernet, double click, and then properties, then settings, and you see I already typed it in prior, because if we scroll down here, same thing will be described as I did here. And then you see here the settings, I already typed it in, and I just do exactly the same. Here you don't have to put in anything. Yeah. And then you just press OK, and it says it's not the not the settings that you have on your computer, because I think that you're going to have something different, but it just say it's okay anyway. Okay. And Wi-Fi connection, I haven't tried that yet. That will be in another video. Just leave it like that in the moment, for the moment. Okay, then we open up the software, then double click on the printer that you have, then go to devices. As you see here, this is the resin. But you could also choose some other ones. I already set up some of these, yeah. But I'm going to use now the one that I have chosen, the HT, the high temperature. So it already shows up here. If you double click on another one and you just wait a while, as you see now, it changed to the other one. So let's switch back. Yeah, this is a beta unit. I only have set up the 50 micron. I haven't tested the other ones. So let's go to the edit program. Let's import a model. I will choose this dragon head here. Okay, so you see it's quite huge. Yeah, then let's move it around. And I think I will change the orientation. I will turn it around. So you see here, I can just turn it the way I want. Okay, that's nice. This one already has supports. In a further video I will show you how I set my supports, but this is here pre-sliced or pre-arranged by Dazz, and you will also find it on your downloads, in the downloads section. It's quite a nice model. But it's not hollowed out, so you will need lots of resin for this one. Okay, then we'll leave it that way. Here this section would be the settings for the supports. As you can see, you can change lots of things here, but I'm not going to do anything here now because this one is already finished. Then we go on the last icon, that we will be dropped back here. Then we say select and then send scene. And here we have the chance to change to the layer height that we want. So I'm going to call this dragon head. Gun head. Okay. Now it's preparing the model. As you can see, the slicing goes quite quick, although it's quite a big model. Okay, so here it's already dropped down. Now we can double click here and we can see status, and it will start in a moment. And we can switch to different views. In the next video I would show you maybe how to apply the supports in the right way, or what I recently found out, if you don't if you put the if the settings are wrong, you might overexpose and then you get lines, and I would tell you what you have to look for. And I would also show you in a close-up how to clean models, because it could be, if you have really models that are very high in detail, it will take quite long. You should really take your time because, you know, the printing takes long, and I always do it overnight. So this is nothing for people that are aiming for speed. You know, if you decide to buy something like that, for whom is this kind of a printer or printing style, you know, resin printing? I think it's for people that print figurines like these, high detailed models, maybe also medical devices, you know, like, I don't know, prosthesis for ears or something for the oral surrounding, and there you need a high detail. Yeah, and then I think you should take your time. Yeah, don't rush it. You know, the resin is not so cheap anyway, and every fail print, it hurts, you know, so really take your time, don't push yourself too much, and then if you do so, you get really awesome results. I'm really happy. Okay, so I hope you liked it. See you soon. Bye bye. Like always, I forgot.